So this is a review for the Cyclone tank from Sense. This is the new tank by the same makers of the Heracles. And it's got some innovative features. And I'm going to unbox it now, show you what comes in the box, and talk to you about the innovative features of design on this thing. I'm very intrigued. I haven't vaped it yet, but this is the first unboxing. So let me take this nice paper off. Sigelei. This is designed, I guess, by Sense. But Sigelei may be the factory, or I really don't know. Anyway, you tell me, Sigelei, if anybody knows what that is. There's really no specs over here other than some nice marketing propaganda. You can read that, pause it, and read it if you want. But suffice it to say, this tank, in theory, goes to, they say it can vape up to 150 watts. We will see about that. But here's what comes in the box. Here's the tank. Kind of sexy looking. Now, at first I was wondering if this is all gimmicky stuff, but it's not. There's a cool pattern and design there. I don't care about that, but it does have some innovative features, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And then, but before I get into that, let me show you what else is in this box. Don't throw this away, because you have a spare glass sleeve, and you also have a spare coil. This is the 0.2 ohm coil, and this says you can vape this one up to, it says 316L stainless. I don't know if that's the wire or the housing. I'm assuming it's the wire they're using is 316 stainless. Okay, that's the coil, the spare 0.2 ohm. There's a 0.6 ohm coil in the tank already, and then you have a little instruction manual here. Blah, blah, blah. 50 to 150 watts. Okay. And then it's just showing all the parts. Alright, so here's the 4 coil options. A 0.6 ohm Canthal. A 316L stainless, which is a 0.2 ohm, which this came with. A nickel coil, which this did not come with. And then the RBA coil, which this did not come with. So this is just, that's what came in this. This is the 316L. All right, enough said on that. Enough said on the propaganda and the marketing and all that stuff. So let's look at the tank. This tank is really intriguing. First, let's talk about, here's the close-up. Nice copper 510 connection. Notice there's no bottom airflow. Notice there's this interesting chamber in here. That's actually where the coil goes. Here's the juice chamber. Here's middle airflow and then top airflow. This is not in the top cap. This airflow here, take this top cap off, this drip tip. Here's the drip tip, very much like the Heracles. Put that off to the side. Here is top airflow. I don't know how it's entering the chamber. I don't know how it's getting in there to mix in with the vape, and look at this, something out of Sci-Fi. That's like one of those spaceship, yeah, whatever, 2010 Space Odyssey. Okay, so here's top airflow. Interesting. See that? 4 airflow slots. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have side airflow. No bottom airflow. Where do we begin with this tank? Let's talk about top fill. It is top fill. You take this off. This is where I had it off before. I had to use a couple of rubber bands. One rubber band wrapped around here, one rubber band wrapped around here. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to do that like off camera. It's not that easy. But here you can see those are the juice filling slots there and there. There's also that Sci-Fi pattern, that splatter-back control thing. And then if I could easily unscrew this Again, I had to use rubber bands to do it. It's not easy to do, but that's the top fill. So here we have our glass sleeve for the tank, and then here we have the juice goes down, and that's part of the airflow. Somehow in here. All right, anyway, enough about that. It's not gimmicky. It serves a purpose. I'm going to show you something else. Here's the coil. You see how there's nothing to this base. It's just, that's it, flat. Coil connects to that because there's no airflow through the bottom, so it doesn't need to be this whole big production down there. We'll take a look at the coil in a minute, but check this out. Watch this. This is the juice flow control. Ready? Oh, look how cool that is. Juice flow control, and it kind of like, look at that. Like a spaceship door closing. That's the airlock. Now, anyway, that's juice flow control. That also has something. So here's what they were talking about. You have this little marker, right? This on that little thin ring, and then you turn. This says that don't vape, and this is vape. So this is the closed position. Then you open that when you want juice to be able to access the coil, and then that's how you know that little marker. With me on that? Very cool. Interesting design. Incidentally, don't lose this O-ring here. The thing did not come with extra O-rings. This seems to be like somehow lightly stuck to the tank, adhered to it, but you know, don't lose that, you're out of business. So let's look at this coil. Get a nice close-up in here for you. I see parallel. This is Canthal. I see some nice parallel vertical coil action going on. And they got a little wire screen on top. And we've gone with, this is the 0.6 that comes installed. 150 watts it says. So we have vertical juice wicking slots. There's the cotton in there. There's the coil in there. Check this out. Since we don't have bottom airflow, the coil, look at that stubby little guy. The coil doesn't have bottom airflow, doesn't need it. So that's just a 510 connection. Boom, right there. That's different. I haven't seen anything else like that. And look at this tiny little base here. It's all it needs to be is a 510 connection, which is what it is. So very cool. Can't wait to vape on this. It's actually very smooth. All the threading on this is very smooth. I feel like, if anything, it was just a little bit over-tightened, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So the coil's there, hand tight, don't over-tighten that. And again, no airflow, no need. So this chamber, the coil is going to sit and rest within that chamber. So the only way juice gets into this chamber, and this is like a nice tight seal. This is the only way juice gets in there is by turning this ring and opening these Sci-Fi spaceship style juice flow channels. Okay, then they're open, and then juice is going to flow down and reach the coil, and then that's possibly where side air control gets into there. But I haven't got this thing all figured out yet. I don't know the mechanics of how that works. I really don't know. I don't really care. I just want to see how it vapes. And then here we have our side airflow or middle airflow. All right. Either direction, 360 degrees. Everything is very smooth, and it's not janky. Nothing's rattling. This is not easy to turn, but it's not hard to turn. It's got some nice tension on it, and it turns very smoothly. All right. So that's that. Now, here's this. Sleeve goes on there. Okay, on this top piece here. Where is the... Oh. Okay. I'm looking for where's the O-ring. The O-ring in the seat is right there. That's where the seal is. So, unlike you know, I have the Phantom tank, and I wasn't a fan of it because it's just too janky and gimmicky, and that whole chamber and like shutting off a chamber to let juice flow down into it was like crappy. This is not the case. This is not the case. This is kind of, I feel like so far, without even having juiced this up, it's very good quality, good design. Everything here makes sense, and I'm like, how did they do that? Okay, so I'm gonna fill it. I'm gonna get some rubber bands and get that off. See this. So, got something stuck. You can't get it off. This is the Vapor's 101 trick. This is the part I want to grab. I got to get a rubber band wrapped around there. Just one wrap will do. And this is the piece I want to turn. I can't grip it by the top airflow because that's going to spin. So I really got to I got to grab only like this middle ring here, which there's nothing there to get my hands on. I can't even get fingernails on that. So I'm going to pull a rubber band right over that. If you got to go around a couple of okay, so now I got some purchase on there, and I can grip this thing. There it is. Just enough to get it turning. See how I had to do that? So since that's, I don't know if there is a way to do that any smoother. Maybe this just breaks in over time, but that was a little tough to get off. I'm not going to be able to do that in the field, but here's your top fill right here. See that, guys? Let me get these rubber bands out. But in case you were ever wondering, that these come on vegetables from the grocery store. Save a couple of these. They come in handy. Yes. There's your top fill. And this is the underside of this airflow. Maybe this creates like a cyclone effect. I don't know. I really don't know. Air comes maybe in through these fins and down through there, and then it cyclones around in there. Who knows? But let's fill this up and see how we do, juice-wise, vaping-wise. Okay, guys, I'm going to be filling this tank today with Wayfarer, which is a new flavor from Tally-Ho Elixirs. It's a fried donut with powdered sugar and light jam and some spices. It's really good anyway. There's a shout out to Tally-Ho, one of my favorite juice companies of all time. And let's fill this bad boy up. So, unfortunately, I don't have a needle unicorn bottle, so I'm just going to have to do it like this. Just like a cowboy. It's decent. Right, it gets in there. If you're in the general area, that juice it'll go. It'll go. Now, I did not wick that coil properly as I usually do. Shame on me. I'm just filling this, and then I'm going to let it sit for a couple of minutes. Now this is a decent sized, tank. 5 ml capacity, that's nice. All right, so there we go. What I'm hoping is once these threads get a little juiced up and maybe like loosen up, maybe they'll be flow a little more fluidly. Okay, can I get that back off? Yes. I believe that actually, yeah. So once you get it off and you get a little bit of juice on those threads, just like anything else. All the threads on this, by the way, are buttery smooth. Nice polish. There's no junk. There was no dirt in this tank. There was no metal turnings. All right. Top fill, legit. Top airflow, we'll see how that goes. Everything's tightened up nicely. Airflow's open. Let me do this. Now that juice is in there, did I leave this? Oh, I left this open. I'm going to wick that Coil a little bit better. Oh, it's already, never mind. It's already been wicked. Good. All right. So we're full. I'm going to let it sit for 5-10 minutes as long as I have the patience. Oh, we see it's filling up. Look at those big air bubbles. Ooh. See that? I come up top and vape and tell you how I think about this tank. Okay guys, I'm back up top. I have let this sit for a good 10 minutes and I'm very intrigued by this tank. I haven't vaped it yet, but you got to see a close-up. We took it apart. We looked at all the clever innovations. This top fill I'm happy with. And I happen to be sitting here at Exhale. What's the full name?
Custom Vapors.
Exhale Custom Vapors in Ronkonkoma, Long Island, New York. And this very shop is where I picked up my first Kanger EVOD just about coming up on a year ago. In a couple of now let's vape on this. I have it, I'm gonna break this coil in. I have it at 40 watts. We're gonna go all the way up the full range to 150. All right, I'm just easing into it gently. I hear some gurgling, I don't know why. All right, that's at 40. Lackluster. The sweet spot on this is not 40 watts. Okay, it's leaking from, there's a little bit of leakage going on here. I'm not gonna criticize the tank. I might not have had it tightened up. There's a few different things to have to tighten. Could be user error. Okay, well, benefit of the doubt. Okay. We resume. I don't know what's up with that gurgling. Okay, the cotton breaking in taste isn't too bad. I'm getting juice flavor. We're not in the ideal range yet. So anything I do right now is just breaking it in. All right, 60 watts.
Display again. Here you go.
Okay. Pretty good flavor. Pretty decent vapor. If you like to vape at 60 watts, you would get a good vape off of this tank. I kind of feel like it wants to keep going. That's starting to get nice and dense. It's warm, not even hot yet, and that's good flavor. It's not muted at all. Holy shit on the airflow. I mean, it really is. It's got plenty of airflow. Let's go up to 70. That's nice. 70 is like my ideal wattage for a good sub-ohm tank. That's usually where I like to vape the Crown. I vape the Smoke TFV4 at about 80. That's intense, holy shit. Good flavor, good vapor production. a nice warm vape. That coil is completely broken in by now. Let's go to 80. Oh, turns off.
Yeah.
I can set that for longer. Got that? 80 watts. It's not leaking. That was probably because I didn't have it tightened all the way. Now the tank's warm. The vape's nice and warm. That's a nice, comfortable, flavorful, warm vape. Not hot, at 80 watts. Honestly, you got me. Right now, this Cyclone tank, you've got me. But let's keep going. Like that's a good enough vape, in my opinion. This tank is worth getting and worth vaping on. If it continues to vape like that, day in, day out, you got a home run here. That's awesome. I'm just giving it a few seconds. I don't know how much time it needs to rewick. I haven't even come close to feeling like it was getting dry. In fact, it's a little on the moist side, which is good, because that tells me that maybe I'll be all right. I suspect maybe I'll be all right at 90 watts. Did I get it? No.
Yep. You.
I got it?
Yeah.
Got it again.
There you go.
90. Nice. This drip tip is not getting hot at all. I'm not getting any splatter, so maybe that cool sci-fi futuristic, like, oh, that's so cool. When you look right down the barrel, you can see this, like, I don't know how to describe that. Well, you saw it in the close-up. It looks like the spaceship portal is closing with these triangles that all fit into each other. That's 90 watts. That's a nice vape. It's not hot. The tank's starting to warm up a little, which is good. Maybe everything's gonna tighten up. O-rings are getting juiced up. Shall we go to 100? Yes, we shall. Oh, and incidentally, 100 watts, 7.4 volts, 0.56 ohms. 100 watts.
Hey! What are you up to? That stinks.
Fantastic. You're on YouTube. What's up, buddy? Say hello.
I'm on.
Yeah, come on in.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Steve, the owner of Exhale, doing a tank review for the new Cyclone from Sense, the same company that makes the Heracles.
Very cool.
So far, we're doing good at 100 watts. It's a nice vape. The tank's warm. It's not hot yet. That drip tip is super cool. Well, not cool. Slightly warm. Let's go right to 120. I lost my helper. 120. 7.5 volts. I'm not going to be trying to take 5-second hits off of this, although maybe I should. It's guzzling through juice.
Okay. All right, thanks, man.
That's a nice vape. It's not a hot vape. It's warm, it's bearable, it's not painful. What a nice flavor. Airflow is keeping up with wicking. Wicking is keeping up with wattage. The tank's not getting crazy hot. This Delrin drip tip inside is keeping this warm at the most. Wow. Normally I would not do this, but just for the sake of, we're going to do it to to do it. 140. $140. Drip tip still only warm. Tank starting to heat up, but not terribly painfully hot. I'm reluctant to chain vape at that wattage, but if you must vape at 150 watts, here we are. 150 watts. Vape's just fine. Now we are plowing through juice, but that's to be expected. I gotta say, legit, I was skeptical, but that is vaping at 150 watts. There's flavor, obviously there's vapor. I'm gonna take a few more hits at 150 and then go back to like 90. I liked it around 90 better. It's very intense. It's very intense. I'm getting nicked out over here. Definitely I can feel like it's giving me an intense vape. Can't believe I'm vaping like this in the tank. Well, there you have it, folks. 150 watts. The airflow is keeping up, the wicking is keeping up, the tank's not overheating. I think they're onto something here. They designed something nice for us. Let's go back down to a more genteel 90. And I am feeling very jittery right now. I am all nicked out. 90. I could vape like that all day. Well done, Sense. Well done. There's the Cyclone, new sub-ohm tank for the market. It's a goodie. Thumbs up. Thanks for watching Quest for Vape.